What is going on, Mariners fans? Baseball is back. The opening series is out of the way. It's behind us. The Mariners start the year 2-2. They had a 4-game series in Seattle against the Athletics. We're going to get into all the details, all of what to expect moving forward, their upcoming series with the Tigers and then with the Giants. But first off, the Athletics, they are going to be much better this year than people put out might put out on how good they'll be. We'll get into that in a little bit as well, but I'm going to start doing a live weekly show every Monday at 10 a.m. I'll have various guests throughout the season. We'll talk Mariners, we'll talk baseball in general, current trends, what's going on. But this is just one thing that I need to start doing is the weekly show. I'll still have my standalone videos where I'm breaking down players and stats and what's going on throughout the season, but want to do something to where if you're listening and watching, tuning in live on YouTube, you can comment, questions, opinions, thoughts. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll try to get to as many as possible. But first off, this podcast in general is sponsored by Black Label Supplements. They're a third-party tested, athlete-approved supplement company based here in the Pacific Northwest. As you might know, the relievers in the bullpen, a lot of them use pre-workout. And, if you're hitting the gym or if you're looking to take the next step in baseball, throw some pre-workout in there before your next outing and see how it goes. Check out blacklabelsupplements.com. Use code CouchGM for 15% off your order. Also, Baseballism to gear up for the season. Make sure to check out Baseballism. Use code CouchGM15 for 15% off your order. And if you didn't know, the best way to support myself and what I'm doing with being able to create more content, I'm actually a full-time mortgage broker. So I actually help people with financing when they're looking to purchase or refinance a property. So if you're a sports fan or an athlete, we have options for everybody really. So make sure to reach out. I'll have a link in the description of this video to reach out and connect if you're interested in that. So getting into it, as I mentioned, the Mariners started out the year 2-2. They very easily could have gone 0-4, let's be real. But thanks to clutch home runs on Thursday from Randy, clutch home run yesterday from Julio, they were able to win 2 of those games. But some of the notes is that Polanco seems like he's back. He was also one of the big factors in that opening game and throughout the series. I also will go through, I think Logan Gilbert will be extended by the All-Star break. I think that's going to happen. Cal Raleigh was just extended this past week. I think Gilbert is going to be next. I think Ryan Bliss is going to be an impact guy this year. We saw his ability on the base path in the field. He looked incredible at second base. He's got sneaky pop. He's got the contact ability. The Athletics have a tough rotation. You can't even, it's not the A's of the past. It's the A's of the future. They have a young, exciting core of guys, and they're going to be a team that you need to look out for, because if you head into a series with the Athletics thinking that you're gonna sweep them, you're going to be sorely mistaken. I'll also get into small ball is in, whether you like it or not. I personally am a fan of it, but we'll get into how the Mariners might deploy some small ball. Seems that also Munoz is the traditional closer moving forward. We saw yesterday in a high leverage situation, Trent Thornton faced 9, 1, 2, and 3 in the top of the 8th inning, just up by 1 run. In years past with Scott Service, we would have seen Andres Munoz go in that situation. So it seems like that Dan Wilson is going to deploy Munoz as more of the traditional closer in the 9th inning. Outfield really needs to produce. They're going to be one of the big pieces of this team. If they're going to win the games, if they're going to put up the runs, Randy Rosarena, Julio Rodriguez, Victor Robles will need to produce. And then we'll also talk briefly about the Torpedo Bats that have come out with the Bronx Bombers going wild in New York this past weekend. So to start off again, it is opening day. I was up there on the sidelines asking players what they think of opening day and what it means to them. First off, here is Bryce Miller on opening day and what it means to him. Maybe. Happy opening day. What does opening day mean for you? Happy opening day. What does opening day mean to you?
Yeah, it's super cool. I'm glad this is my second one, so I know what more to expect. Main thing is not to fall on the carpet on the way out, but no, it's we're all super excited. We've been working since pretty much the last game of last season, and got a lot of the same guys back, and we're ready to run it back and show what we've been working on, and we've been this close the last few years, and we're ready to make it happen.
So that's Bryce on opening day, what it means to him. As he described, the Mariners, they know that they've missed out on the playoffs by one game the past 2 years, and they're motivated. They're ready to go. They know that these games early in the season mean a lot. And so I feel like if there was any messing around in the prior years, they have a different level of intensity heading into the season. Here's Andres Munoz.
What does opening day mean for you?
Means a lot. Means a lot of sacrifice that we do. A lot of sacrifice that we did in the off season just to be able to be here and to have this experience. It's really good, and every year that I came here, I feel more comfortable being here, and I enjoy staying in this place.
Mm-hmm. You've had a great spring training so far. How do you feel heading into this season, and what can we expect?
I feel really good. Spring training is for working different things. Now is the time when we leave all those things of work, and we just go and do our best, attack the hitters, and obviously, like I say a lot of times, sometimes doesn't going to work, sometimes going to work, but the important thing is just maintain with the same mentality all the time.
Are we going to see a kick change, the first pitch that you throw this year?
No.
No?
No, I don't think so. I've been working in that pitch, but the more that I threw it, I start to struggle a little bit to control it, to command it. But it's something that I will work on it, and I will have at some point this season.
As Munoz described, he worked on that kick change throughout spring training. Being able to get to opening day is just the next step, and being able to put that product out on the field. And it sounds like he was starting to lose control a little bit, or not able to control the kick change quite as much as he was intending to or hoping to. So we should see it at some point this year, but it won't be one of his big pitches that he uses heading into the year. And then I also went out over to the A sideline, and I got A's star right fielder Lawrence Butler on what opening day means for him as well.
What does opening day, opening weekend mean for you?
It means a lot to me, because I remember when I was playing Little League, opening day was just a cool experience. You get to walk around the park with your team. You got your team banner in front of you. It was just a cool experience. So, opening day in the big leagues is just a dream come true.
Walk us through your journey, being drafted out of high school, coming up through the athletic system, now being a part of the young core of this athletics team.
It was a long journey, but I'm grateful for every step of the way. I played at every level, from rookie ball, short season, low A, high A, double A, triple A. I got to know this organization really well. I love the organization. This is all I know. They've treated me amazing since the first day I've stepped in, Mesa, Arizona clubhouse. So, I'm just thankful to be with such a great organization.
Lawrence Butler just signed a 6-year extension with the Athletics. Brent Rooker also just signed an extension to buy out their arbitration years, buy out a few years of free agency for them. Lawrence Butler, Brent Rooker. We saw Tyler Soderstrom in that first game, the opening day. He hit 2 solo home runs. He also hit a double later in the series. He's a guy to look out for. Jacob Wilson, JJ Bleday, all of these guys. The Athletics are a solid team. Then you look at the rotation. They signed Luis Severino this past offseason. They traded for Jeffrey Springs. A stat this morning that I saw on MLB Network is that Jeffrey Springs has the lowest ERA in all of baseball since 2022. He had Tommy John surgery, missed all of last year. They traded for him this offseason from the Rays. We saw what he did. I believe he had 9 strikeouts against the Mariners in the second game. Osvaldo Bido, you go look at his baseball savant page. It's littered in red. You got Sears and then S's to round it out. Like I mentioned, thanks to the big home runs from Randy Rosarena and then from Julio, that's the reason why they were able to get to 2-2. And then the young core of this team, as I mentioned, Lawrence Butler, Brent Rooker, Tyler Soderstrom, Jacob Wilson, Seth Brown. Then you got Mason Miller and some other guys out of the bullpen. Here's Lawrence Butler on how good the A's are going to be and some names to look out for.
And then outside of yourself, Brent Rooker, what are a couple of names on this team that we should be on the lookout for?
We got a lot. It's a lot of guys. You saw Tyler Soderstrom yesterday, hit 2 homers. Zach Gallow's going to have a big year. Jacob Wilson, just unbelievable bat the ball. Sevy shut out 6 innings. Mason Miller's Mason Miller. We got a lot of guys in the pen. Fergie, TJ McFarland, Mitch Spence. I feel like we're loaded. Shaylane Lears is, to me, top 3 catchers in the league, and he's not 2 or 3. So, I feel like we're loaded, and I feel like we're going to have a lot of wins this year.
There aren't many teams in baseball right now that you could just go into and expect a sweep or that will lay down. There's a lot of great teams throughout baseball. There's a lot of good teams, solid teams. I think the A's are going to finish fourth in the division. I think the Angels will get last place. And outside of really the Rockies, the Marlins, maybe the White Sox, there aren't any teams that you can go into and just intend or plan to steamroll. And the A's are a sneaky team. The Mariners' next series against the A's will be at Sacramento from May 5th through 7th. So getting into the numbers of the series, as I mentioned, their rotation was solid. Luis Severino, opening day. Logan Gilbert and Luis Severino both showed why they were opening day starters for their teams. Logan Gilbert, 7 innings, 8 strikeouts. Luis Severino, I believe, 6 innings. And he got out of that jam. Rowdy Tellez up at the plate, guys on second and third, 2 outs. That was a nasty backdoor sweeper that went viral throughout the country. That just shows why he's an ace, why they signed him, why they brought him in. Jeffrey Springs, as I mentioned, game 2 was 9 strikeouts. The Mariners hitting, we'll get into their stats. Every week I'll update these stats and go through, and it'll be interesting to see where they rank because, as we know, the Mariners had a historically bad offense the majority of last year until Dan Wilson, Edgar Martinez came in and took over. Then they were one of the top offensive teams in baseball. Currently, after this first series, the Seattle Mariners are 27th in batting average with a 175 team average. They are 16th in on-base percentage with a 291. They are 26th in OPS with a 554. They are 4th in strikeouts with 41. They are 5th in total walks with 16. They are 25th in RBIs with 7, 24th in runs scored with 8. They are 5th in stolen bases with 5. And then with runners in scoring position, which is obviously going to be a crucial stat and position moving forward, they're 27th in average with runners in scoring position with a 105. They're 29th in on-base percentage with runners in scoring position with a 182, 28th in OPS with a 287, 30th in RBIs with 2 RBIs with runners in scoring position, and 14th in strikeouts with 7 strikeouts, runners in scoring position. Now you also have to account for the times where throughout the series there was just bad luck throughout the game. Randy Rosarena, bases loaded. He hits a liner to second base that should have gotten over. Jacob Wilson, I believe at second base, made a fantastic play, is able to snag it, double up Julio Rodriguez at second base. It goes from a 2 RBI single to now 2 outs with no runs scored. So that factors into here as well. On the flip side, Mariners pitching did great for the most part outside of game 2, in which, Bizardo and Taylor Saucedo ended up giving, I believe, 5 runs combined. The Mariners pitching staff as a whole is 13th in ERA with a 3.25, 12th in WHIP with a 1.08, 10th in batting average with a 211, 26th in home runs with 7, and then 13th in walks with 11. So we'll have to watch it as things continue, but Logan Gilbert showed why he's an opening day starter and why he is the next guy up that is going to be extended by the Seattle Mariners. There's actually a great article that came out recently by the Seattle Times talking about why Logan Gilbert is going to be why he could be the next extended. Cal Raleigh, as we know, was just signed to a 6-year, $105 million contract extension. And a big part of, what these guys have been able to do is because of Cal Raleigh and his pitch calling behind the plate, because of his framing. He won the Platinum Glove this past season, and what he brings to the table is so big. And actually, here's Bryce on Cal Raleigh and what exactly he means to the team.
Big news is Cal Raleigh, the big dumper was extended. What does that mean to you guys, the pitching staff, the rotation, the ownership's showing that they're wanting to invest in the guys that they brought in-house, developed, and especially Cal behind the plate. He's helped bring this rotation and the staff to what you guys have become.
Yeah, it's huge. I think all of us, we all love throwing to Cal. He's one of the hardest working guys I've ever met, and especially with the pitch clock, you don't have time to get up there and think about what to throw. And anytime he's behind the plate, whatever he calls, I fully trust. And I know he knows the hitters, and he's done his research, and he knows he knows all of us really well and what we do best also. And yeah, it's great having him here the next 6-7 years. It's big, and he does a lot more behind the scenes than people even see. He's always battling to be on the field, and he gets beat up more than anybody back there, and he's always ready to go. So he definitely works his butt off.
And then here is Andres Munoz on Cal Raleigh.
So the big news is that Cal Raleigh was just extended. Your catcher behind the plate. You're going to be with the franchise for a few more years. Cal is now going to be here at least 6 more years. What does that mean for you guys in the pitching rotation, the bullpen, to have Cal be here?
Just have somebody that you can trust is really important for us. For me, the way that I see it, he is still the hitter is really good, and with the help of the analytics guys, so he have a really good idea of what is going on and what is the best pitch to throw. So as soon as I saw that, I just trust him, and whatever he called, I throw it. And without, the important thing there is that don't doubt.
Yeah.
Like trust the catcher, and if you think that is the best pitch to throw, just have completely confidence in that pitch and throw it, because as soon as you doubt, that doesn't work.
Do you not shake him off at all?
No.
Awesome.
No.
Yeah.
The only time that I shake him is when he told me.
Oh, he's like, do that?
Obviously, like, you can see a lot of catchers do that.
Yeah.
But yes, I don't shake him. I like to go there and attack with the trust in our catcher.
Like Munoz pointed out there, he does not shake off Cal Raleigh whatsoever. Cal Raleigh does so much game planning heading into a series, into a game, that he knows exactly how to attack certain hitters throughout the lineup. And when he puts down, or when he pitch comms out to the pitcher saying, hey, throw this in this location, the guy's like, you got it. I'm not going to shake you off. And we heard in the years prior, I think it was Bryce Miller, to where he tried to shake him off a couple times, and then Cal was like, hey, stop shaking me off. Or I think it might have been Gilbert. But the trust that these pitchers have in Cal Raleigh to be able to call a game, and if they don't have to think about how to attack hitters, and they instead just listen to what Cal calls, and they attack and execute on their pitch, that's just another level of they're being able to focus. And so, like the Seattle Times article that came out, Logan Gilbert likely is the next to be extended. And if we look at Gilbert's contract, so currently he has 3 years of arbitration left. He signed a deal for this year, like $7.625 million. And then he has a third and a fourth year of arbitration coming up in 2026 and 27. Cal Raleigh and Logan Gilbert were both drafted back in the 2018 draft. Logan Gilbert was the Mariners' first-round draft pick. Cal Raleigh was the third-round draft pick for the Seattle Mariners. And so if we look at the top 15 starting pitcher average contracts right now, Zach Wheeler is the top-paid starting pitcher in the league with $42 million per year. Jacob deGrom is second at $40 million. Garrett Cole is at $36 million. All the way down to top 15, you're looking at $22.5 million. Logan Gilbert, he led all of baseball in innings pitched and whip last year. You could argue that he is one of, if not the best currently. Obviously there's guys that are above him overall, but the value that he brings with the innings that he logs, the guys that he limits, he could take that next step this year and become a top 3 starting pitcher in all of baseball. And so if that's the case, you have the advantage as the Mariners that he has the years of arbitration left, to where you don't have to pay him $40 million per year for those arbitration years. Instead, you pay him $15 million per year for those 2 arbitration years, and then you pay him 30 plus after that. I was talking with the Marine Layer guys this weekend on the sideline, and they're thinking if they were to extend an offer of $240 million, would he say no? I would say no. I'm just curious to see exactly how much they would have to offer to extend him. But I do think with the comments that Logan Gilbert has had, he was quoted saying that the Mariners know where I stand. Seattle has become like home for me, and I'd love to be able to finish my career here. And then he added to that, stating that Cal Raleigh's new contract definitely adds to his desire to stay in Seattle long term. And he said, we've built something here, and you feel like you have a stake in it. You want to see it through. And so I think Logan Gilbert is going to get signed to a contract extension at some point by the All-Star break. I think that's going to happen. We heard John Stanton earlier this last week talk on it. And of course he had his media talks, stating that, they're not sure if they can sign Logan Gilbert. Everyone has different needs, so we'll have to see how things look. But I think both sides obviously want Logan Gilbert to stay in Seattle for the long term. Now it's just a matter of figuring out what exactly that looks like. Clearly, a starting pitcher is going to get paid more money than Cal Raleigh, the catcher, but we'll have to see if both sides come to an agreement here. Some other notes from this past weekend. I think Bliss is going to be an impact guy. We saw him at second base. I think that's his role to lose. You know, of course, there's Cole Young at AAA, which people think might be coming up at some point later this year. There's also the thought of, like, you see Jorge Polanco playing third base. Clearly, he's not a third baseman. Does his arm stand up at third base? Do you move Jorge Polanco to DH? Do you move him to second base? I think Ryan Bliss has to play second base. You see him turning the double plays with JB Crawford at shortstop. He makes all the routine plays look routine, which is obviously what you want, but then he makes the tough plays also look routine, sliding across the infield, throwing it back to first base. I think Ryan Bliss, his ability on the base path, we saw him multiple times this past weekend. He would draw a walk, he would steal second base, and then Shea Langeliers overthrew second base multiple times to where Ryan Bliss was able to get to third base. And one time, it was a close play, but there was a pass ball, and he got from second, ended up trying to score, was thrown out. His foot was just a bit high, but Ryan Bliss, a product out of Auburn University, drafted by the Diamondbacks, traded over to the Mariners a couple years ago, debuted with the Mariners this last year. Opening day starter at second base for the Mariners is Ryan Bliss. And part of that is, I think the small ball is back. Game one, we saw Jorge Polanco. I believe it was the bottom of the sixth inning. There was guys on first and second, one out. Jorge Polanco at the time was 2 for 2 on the day. He put down a bunt, got the guys over to second and third with 2 outs. Rowdy Tellez at the plate. You can argue if that was the right time for that to happen, but I think the small ball mentality is much needed, especially you look at T-Mobile Park with where they play. You saw the game yesterday to where Randy Arozarena hit a ball to center field. They said on air that the ball was reduced 28 feet due to the wind that was coming out of center and right field. Mitch Garber hit a ball to right center that also would have been over the wall if there was no wind. It reduced the fly ball by 20 feet. In the same light, Brent Rooker also hit a ball to center field that would have been a home run if there wasn't any wind. It was instead a fly out. We saw Tyler Soderstrom yesterday hit a changeup out to left field where the wind was blowing. There has to be a discussion on if you keep the roof closed until it's 65 and sunny, or until May, or you look at the wind conditions and decide not just on if it's raining or not, but if the conditions overall should have you to keep the roof closed or not. But with that being the case, the Mariners really have to play into the small ball and to bunt the guy over, to hit sac flies, to do different things and really focus on line drives. Don't focus on hitting moonshots, because Randy scorched a ball yesterday that ended up being a flyout because of the conditions. So we're going to see a lot of bunting. We're going to see a lot of small ball, and I personally am a fan of it. Another note that we noticed yesterday was that Andres Munoz is going to be the traditional closer. I asked Dan Wilson at a presser at spring training how he intends to deploy Munoz, if he is the traditional closer for the ninth inning guy, or if he's going to be a high leverage guy, similar to what we saw in years past, to where if the heart of the lineup is coming up in the 7th, the 8th inning, Munoz would go out for those guys. And Dan said that Munoz is a guy that you want to have closing out all of your games if possible. There are going to be some situations, as with any closer in baseball, if there's 1 or 2 outs in the 8th inning and the heart of the lineup is coming up, you then put him in there in the 8th. Maybe they get 1, 2 outs in the 8th. They go in for the 9th inning as well. So, but looking yesterday, they trusted Trent Thornton to get the 8th inning with 9, 1, 2, and 3 coming up. He walked the first guy, was able to get out of the inning unscathed, and then Munoz came in the 9th and shut the door. So I'm a fan of seeing a traditional closer, especially once we get Matt Brash back, once we get Troy Taylor back. There's going to be more depth in that bullpen. You're going to see other guys throughout the season, like lefty Brandon Garcia, who's going to be up at some point very soon. Righty Hunter Cranton is electric. There's a ton of high upside guys that will take some of these spots, maybe like Bizzardo, some of these other other guys that there's a ton of depth in the bullpen, and you need your closer to be able to have proper expectations. If Munoz is out there in the bullpen, he doesn't know if he's throwing the 7th, 8th, or 9th. He's going to be more amped up, more of the game. And, I've talked with him and other people about anxiety, and players deal with anxiety as much as anybody, if not more. You don't know when you're going to be going in, who you're going to be facing, what the results are going to be, the amount of pressure that is put on you in those spots. And if you could help reduce anxiety for players, or reduce or make things more predictable for them individually, that is going to help their overall results. And so if you tell Munoz, hey, you're the 9th inning guy, then he's going to be ready for the 9th inning. He's not going to have to be ready for the 7th or the 8th unless it's a certain situation, but that just helps overall. And you have to put your trust in other guys. It's not just a one-man team. It's not just a one-man bullpen. Munoz's arm can't survive throwing 150 innings out of the bullpen, whatever. You need to have guys like Thornton, like other guys, to come out there in high leverage situations. Gregory Santos, as I mentioned, Brash, Troy Taylor, to go in there and throw in high leverage situations in the 7th and the 8th, so that you can get to the 9th with Munoz, who's going to lock it down. Another note is that, as we saw, Randy Rosarena hit the home run, Julio hit the home run. The outfield needs to produce in order for this team to really get to their full potential. Throughout the infield, third base, Polanco, he's had a standout year so far. He looks like he's fully healthy, which is fantastic. But Randy Rosarena, he needs to play up to his potential. Last season, he was traded from the Rays to the Mariners. That's a lot going on, a lot of moving pieces, going from the East Coast to the West Coast. He grew up, in Tampa Bay, basically. He's from Cuba, but most of his time, or all of his time in the big leagues so far, was in Tampa Bay. So to have to uproot his life, come to the West Coast during the middle of the season, and then also try to live up to expectations that the Mariners have, especially when you're the big trade piece for the year. There's a lot of expectation there. Now, Randy heading into his second year with the Mariners, his first full season with the Mariners, he's going to be more comfortable, especially with these guys that they have in there. Victor Robles, Julio Rodriguez, those guys in the outfield have been able to mesh together. So we should see a better season from Randy. Julio Rodriguez this spring has been taking more at bats. He's healthy, fully healthy the entire spring. And we saw the last week of spring training, he was starting to go off. He ended spring training with a few home runs in a few days, including a grand slam to the opposite field. We need Julio to stay hot, and he has looked better so far the start to this year. He wasn't chasing some of the balls that he might have chased in years past. It's early, but we need to, he's going to get dialed in. Victor Robles, the same light. We saw yesterday, first pitch, he scorches a line drive off the left field wall. Victor Robles is similar to Ryan Bliss. He has a ton of tools. He's going to fly around the base path. He's going to be able to play great defense. He has the sneaky pop like these guys. None of these guys are small. They all have the pop. It's just a matter of the consistency and getting the bat and the ball. So the outfield is going to be a big producer this year. Now, talking a little bit about the Torpedo Bat that came out. The New York Yankees hit something like 9 home runs in the game yesterday or the day before that. Aaron Judge hit 4 home runs in 2 days. Aaron Judge is not using the Torpedo Bat, just for the record. But the idea is that more of the weight is moved from the end of the bat towards the barrel to where you're hoping to hit the ball at, so that when you make contact on the barrel, there's going to be more mass there, more density. The ball is going to fly farther, or it might even help, get some more base hits. And I heard a great take today that, first off, the Torpedo Bat is legal. It does follow all these specifications that MLB requires for a bat. And it's not just the Yankees that are creating this bat themselves. It's bat companies that are making torpedo bats in this way. And this isn't new, apparently. This is the first time that I have personally heard of this, but apparently Francisco Lindor was using it last year. Apparently Ketel Marte was using this back to as far back as 2019. So we'll see if there's going to be some torpedo bats in the Mariners lineup moving forward. I think it would at least be worth the shot, because I heard that 10% of the balls that you hit are off the end of the bat, which is where really the widest part of the bat for the most part is. And so if you just move the mass down to the barrel, we might see higher exit velocities. And there's always been talks of how we can help neutralize the competition between pitchers and hitters. Pitching has become so elite to where it is by far the hardest thing to do in sports is to hit a baseball, especially now with the velocity, the spin rate, the movement on pitches. You have to do something to try to even out the competitive advantage that pitchers have right now. This is why we've seen the pitch clock. This is why we're seeing bigger bases to try to increase offensive production. And I've heard talks of, oh, do we move the mound back? No, absolutely not. You can't move the mound back. You can't do certain things. So the next step is, hey, let's give the guys on the offensive side, another tool to use. And we'll have to see. It'll probably become more of a thing this season, and we'll see exactly how the results are. Like I mentioned, Aaron Judge is not using one, and he's still hitting tanks. He's going to hit 70 bombs this year. But we'll see. We'll have to keep an eye out on the Torpedo Bat. Now heading into this next series. So the Mariners will have a 3-game series against the Tigers starting on Monday, which is today. Today, they will be facing off against the number 5 prospect in baseball in Jackson Jobe. The Tigers have a incredible rotation. They have Tarek Skubal, who is the 2024 AL Triple Crown winner, which is the most wins, the best ERA, and the highest amount of strikeouts in the league, each league. So he won the 2024 AL Triple Crown. He had 18 wins, 2.39 ERA, 228 strikeouts. He's a product of Seattle University. We'll be facing him in Game 3 on Wednesday, so that will be a tough one in Seattle. But like I mentioned, Jackson Jobe, he's an electric guy. He made the rotation out of spring training today, or he made the move out of spring training. He is starting today, and he's got a fastball that's approaching 100. He's got devastating breaking balls. He's going to be going up against Emerson Hancock, who will be getting his first start of the year. Next, tomorrow's game will be against Casey Mize, who is a former number 1 overall pick, who has been trying to find his way in their rotation. He'll be facing Logan Gilbert on the mound tomorrow, and then the following day is going to be Tarek Skubal, who will be going up against Luis Castillo. After the Tigers, they will be heading to San Francisco Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They will be at the Giants. Their likely matchups will be Justin Verlander Thursday versus Bryce Miller, likely Robbie Ray in his tight pants. Although if you look at his pictures of current day, his pants aren't quite as tight as they were in the past. So something to note there. Robbie Ray Friday versus Brian Wu, and then potentially Jordan Hicks versus Emerson Hancock on Saturday. So make sure to like and subscribe to the Couch GM for all things Seattle Mariners sports throughout the season. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this first series against the Athletics, the Torpedo Bat. What do you think about Jorge Polanco? Is his resurgence real? What do you think the Mariners should do at second base? I guess one thing I'll add also, we'll have to keep an eye on Polanco at third base and kind of monitor that, because there is Ben Williamson, who is at Tacoma. Of course, you could debate that his bat isn't quite ready, but you look at the play that he made yesterday or 2 days ago, he's the second coming of Nolan Arenado at third base, not talking about the bat. But we'll have to see if Polanco is enough of a liability at third base to where they have to move him to DH to have his bat in the lineup. Also, another prediction, I think that Jorge Polanco should start batting third probably today. Move Cal Raleigh down to the 5 spot. So you have Victor Robles, Julio Rodriguez, Jorge Polanco, Randy Rosarena, and then Cal Raleigh. We'll see if that comes to be. But again, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to tune into all the Mariners games this week, and we'll see you in the next one.